Special counsel. Former FBI Director Robert Mueller will now serve as special counsel overseeing the FBI investigation into Russian meddling in the 2016 election and any possible collusion with associates of the Trump campaign. The department saying it's in the public interest. And it comes as many Republicans now join Democrats in demanding that James Comey testify before the American people about the notes he took during his meetings with the president. Also breaking, millions now bracing for severe storms at this hour after a deadly tornado outbreak already. Entire neighborhoods wiped out. New watches across several states tonight. And the disturbing video now emerging. New questions over who was behind these beatings not far from the White House. Americans protesting the president of Turkey and his visit to the White House. Men in suits moving in. The bloody clash.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a Wednesday night. And we begin with that breaking headline: the White House blindsided tonight as the Department of Justice reveals that they will appoint a special counsel to now oversee the FBI investigation into Russian meddling and any possible collusion. Former FBI Director Robert Mueller will now lead the investigation. Democrats and some Republicans had been calling for this move. The news coming just 24 hours after we learned that former FBI Director James Comey, who was fired by President Trump, kept notes about his meetings with the president. The Department of Justice saying just moments ago a special counsel is necessary for the American people to have full confidence in the outcome. ABC Senior Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas leading us off.
Tonight, a bombshell announcement. The Department of Justice appointing a special counsel to take over the investigation into Russia's interference with the 2016 election, including possible collusion with the Trump campaign. The man now leading the investigation, former FBI Director Robert Mueller. He'll have all the authorities of a U.S. attorney, including the ability to take the matter before a grand jury and the ability to issue subpoenas. The announcement of a special counsel comes after Attorney General Jeff Sessions recused himself.
Therefore, I have recused myself in the matters that deal with the Trump campaign.
President Trump has called the investigation into possible collusion with members of his campaign a charade. Former FBI Director James Comey was in charge of that investigation until he was fired last week. Tonight's dramatic announcement coming after that other bombshell 24 hours ago. The memo coming to light about President Trump's meeting in the Oval Office in February, raising concerns Mr. Trump allegedly wanted the FBI to go easy on former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. It was the president who warned the FBI director after firing him that, quote, James Comey better hope there are no tapes of our conversations before he starts leaking to the press. The White House has refused to say whether those tapes exist. But what we do know, according to sources, is that memos do exist. James Comey had a documented history of keeping notes, especially when it came to controversial matters. Tonight, after it was revealed he wrote a memo saying that President Trump pressured him to drop the Flynn investigation, now we learn there could be more memos, more documentation of his interaction with the president. Just as he documented his meeting in the Oval Office in February, one day after General Flynn resigned. President Trump allegedly asking Vice President Pence and Attorney General Jeff Sessions to exit the room after a briefing, leaving the president alone with the FBI director. According to the now infamous memo described to ABC News by a source close to Comey who has read it, Trump allegedly then said, I hope you can see your way to letting this go, to letting Flynn go. He's a good guy. The White House tonight denying President Trump pressured Comey to stop the investigation.
The president's been very clear that the account that was published is not an accurate description of how the event occurred.
But sources close to Comey expect that Comey will testify before Congress and the American people, and that his memos will be made available.
So let's get to Pierre Thomas live in our Washington bureau. And Pierre, back to this notion of a special counsel now. The FBI Director James Comey, who was fired just last week, of course, he had been leading this investigation. So this now means that former FBI Director James Mueller steps in. And for people watching at home tonight, this question: what does it mean? Does he begin examining what's been gathered so far, or does he start from scratch here?
David, it's totally at the discretion of Mueller. He can replace all the agents currently working the case if he chooses, and he has 60 days to put together a team of lawyers to work with him on the case. And David, just a reminder about Mueller. After serving 10 years as FBI director, he was asked by President Obama to re-up for an additional 2 years. He was reconfirmed 100 to nothing.
Pierre Thomas leading us off. Pierre, thank you. I want to get right to ABC's chief White House correspondent, Jonathan Karl, tonight, because, John, you were telling me the White House was blindsided. What have you learned tonight?
They were completely taken off guard by this, David. As a matter of fact, I am told that the senior staff here at the White House did not get word of this until about 30 minutes before the news was shared with the news media. Completely taken off guard, but it really shouldn't have taken them all that much by surprise given the developments of the last few days. And I am starting to hear even from some Republicans on Capitol Hill welcoming this news, including Jason Chaffetz, the top Republican on the Oversight Committee in the House. He said Mueller is a great selection, impeccable credentials, should be widely accepted. We just don't know if that is a view that is shared here at the White House yet.
All right, 30 minutes warning, as you point out, John, thanks to you. And as you can imagine, this news traveling quickly to Capitol Hill, where some Republicans had begun to join Democrats in calling for this move, a special counsel. But tonight, they also want something else. Both sides now want James Comey on the Hill, testifying before the American people about what he wrote about his meetings with the president. ABC's Mary Bruce tonight on the Hill.
With his White House consumed by crisis, President Trump today venting to the Coast Guard graduating class.
Look at the way I've been treated lately, especially by the media. No politician in history, and I say this with great surety, has been treated worse or more unfairly.
But back in Washington, even members of the president's own party say we may be at a tipping point.
I think it's reaching the point where it's of Watergate size and scale.
The latest allegations rippling through the Republican Party. That news the president may have asked then FBI Director James Comey to shut down his investigation into fired National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. Do you want Comey to testify? I want facts. Tonight, both parties are now clamoring for Comey to testify. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell telling the Wall Street Journal, "I think we need to hear from him as soon as possible in public to respond to the issues that have been raised in recent days." And leaders of 3 congressional committees say they want to see the memo Comey wrote documenting his conversation with the president.
But on the surface, that seems like an extraordinary use of influence to try to shut down an investigation being done by the FBI.
Do you want Comey to testify? On the Hill, a dizzying day of dodges, with some Republicans making their discomfort clear.
Republicans can't be okay with this.
Tonight, one Republican, Congressman Justin Amash, even reportedly saying if the allegations in the Comey memo are true, it could be an impeachable offense. The Speaker of the House is still backing the president, but not without hesitation. Mr. Speaker, do you still have full confidence in the president?
I do.
118 days into the new administration, Republicans had hoped to be plowing ahead with their agenda: healthcare, tax reform, deregulation. But instead, they're careening from crisis to crisis. On the campaign trail, Trump himself warned this would happen under a Hillary Clinton presidency.
If Hillary is elected, she would be under protracted criminal investigation, likely followed by the trial of a sitting president. The investigation will last for years. Nothing will get done.
That was the prediction if Hillary Clinton had been elected. I want to get to Mary Bruce from Capitol Hill tonight. And Mary, we could see former FBI Director James Comey testifying on the Hill as soon as next week still?
David, the House Oversight Committee wants the former FBI director to testify at a hearing here next Wednesday. The Senate Intelligence Committee is also eager to hear from Comey. The top Democrat on that committee telling me today he's as confident as anything Comey will be testifying soon.
All right,
David.
Still up to Comey, though, when. Mary Bruce live on the Hill tonight. Mary, thank you. I want to bring in ABC's chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams, because, Dan, we heard from Pierre Thomas off the top there, and it was quite striking. He said Mr. Mueller can step in here and essentially months after this FBI investigation began, even before the election, and he could start over.
That's what an independent prosecutor means. It's called a special counsel, but this means he can now decide what he wants to do with all that information. And I think it's really important that he bring in some of his own people. He doesn't want to be seen as just using the FBI people who are already there, so expect him to put together his own team to draw his own conclusion.
Meantime, Dan, you heard from lawmakers on the Hill today. Many are beginning to use the term obstruction of justice, pointing to the memo that James Comey allegedly wrote, saying that the president told him, "I hope you can let this go," in talking about the investigation into Michael Flynn. Many legal experts looking at this say this memo in and of itself doesn't necessarily mean obstruction of justice.
The memo itself doesn't. You need the context. And some of the other things that Mueller will be looking at are the reports, for example, of a demand of loyalty at a dinner, the fact that the president admitted that Russia was on his mind when he fired Comey, the fact that he was alone in the White House, asked Jeff Sessions and Vice President Pence to leave the room when he made these comments that were in the memo. Take all of that together, and most importantly, with James Comey's account, and then you assess, is this obstruction or is it not?
A long summer ahead. Dan Abrams with us tonight. Dan, as always, thank you. I do want to bring in ABC senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega tonight. She is set to travel with President Trump on his first foreign trip. And Cecilia, this White House was hoping this trip would help them turn the page, a reset, if you will. But world leaders are watching these headlines, too.
They certainly are, and I was just speaking with a senior administration official today, David, and they were touting how well this White House feels the president has been doing with foreign leaders ahead of this visit, especially heading into the Muslim world. This will undoubtedly hang over President Trump's head, as will that conversation in the Oval Office where he is accused of giving highly classified intelligence to the Russians. The White House was hoping to turn a page going into this 9-day, 5-country stop. They start in Saudi Arabia, they go to Israel, he heads to the Vatican where he will meet with the Pope. But David, this is a White House that now heads on its first foreign trip with a major political crisis on its hands.
All right, Cecilia, thank you. Not only world leaders are watching this, but Wall Street as well. The turmoil in Washington tonight blamed for the stock market suffering its worst losses this year. The Dow falling more than 372 points today to close at 20,606. In the meantime, we are following other news at this hour. The deadly tornado outbreak in the heartland. New alerts have been posted at this hour. Another difficult night ahead. And a state of emergency now declared in Wisconsin. More than 24 tornadoes reported. One tornado damaging homes in Barton County, Kansas. And these pictures coming into us tonight just stunning out of Wisconsin. Severe storms moving east, a brand new system building strength. ABC's Alex Perez tonight from the storm zone.
Tornado warning, take shelter.
Tonight, a dangerous system on the move.
Tornado completely all the way on the ground.
The tornado outbreak beginning in Texas Tuesday afternoon. Twisters reported in 6 states. Our Clayton Sandell is in hard-hit Elk City, Oklahoma.
The twister slammed into this neighborhood right around dinner time. At least 100 homes here severely damaged or destroyed. One person was killed, but officials say early warnings helped save many lives.
Driving dangerous, too. This pickup hydroplaning on I-40 north of Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Another twister making a direct hit.
The trailer court looks like it might have been leveled.
One killed and dozens injured. First responders hearing their cries for help.
They were pulling walls off of people and getting them out of their trailers.
Darla Rutledge was standing in her home when the walls collapsed on her.
Didn't have a chance to do nothing.
And David, hard to believe, but there were 10 homes on this block. This is all that's left. This area now bracing for another round of storms tonight. David?
Bracing for another round, Alex, thanks. So let's get right to Rob Marciano with the track at this hour. Hey, Rob.
Hey, David, dangerous again. Already 4 reported tornadoes tonight, and we've got watches up. Look at the radar. All of Iowa, part of Wisconsin, those storms rotating through Des Moines, Davenport, La Crosse, and Chicago, the western suburbs. You may get a rumble of thunder or some strong storms tonight as all this rotates off towards the Great Lakes. Northern Ohio through northern New York tomorrow. But the big show back in the plains again. Western Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas could see long track damaging tornadoes then tomorrow.
All right, Rob Marciano tracking this into the night. Rob, thank you. In the last 24 hours, there have been some new and startling images emerging from Washington, D.C., not far from the White House, in fact. It all happened as the highly controversial president of Turkey was visiting here to meet President Trump at the White House. Protesters in the nation's capital allegedly attacked by President Erdogan's own security. And some of the people attacked in this video were Americans who were protesting. Here's ABC's chief global affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz tonight.
Tonight, Washington police are analyzing this video to identify the men who started this violent melee. Peaceful protesters, some Americans, attacked allegedly by pro-government supporters and Turkish security personnel guarding the visiting Turkish President Erdogan. Watch those men in dark suits and ties and brown shirts who are armed, charging the protesters, kicking them to the ground, men and women, again and again. Police trying to pull them off. The security guards racing to the next protester while others walked around dazed and bloody. 11 people injured, police making 2 arrests.
It appears to be unprovoked, and it appears to be very brutal.
The violence coming just hours after President Trump welcomed Erdogan at the White House, calling it an honor. The crowd there to protest a man who has tightened his grip on power by jailing thousands of political opponents at home. Tonight, the State Department saying we support the rights of people everywhere to free expression and peaceful protest.
So let's get to Martha Raddatz with us live in D.C. tonight. And Martha, these guards are tied to the Turkish embassy. Could they get diplomatic immunity here?
They sure could, David. In fact, most of the security guards are back in Turkey tonight, but they are still pursuing this case in case anybody lives here. David?
That was a stunning scene. All right, Martha Raddatz, thank you. There is still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Wednesday. The alarming video raising questions tonight. High school students pepper sprayed for extra credit. Apparently, they volunteered. Their parents gave the okay, but did the